I think one of the things I was really looking forward to watching tonight was like, all right, how are the Kings going to play defensively? Mike Brown, we were at practice yesterday, and at the end of practice, he was ripping the team a little bit. We could kind of hear it. He was not happy about how they performed defensively in the scrimmage. They put a random time on the clock, and they were kind of going back and forth, but no one was playing defense. And Mike Brown did not like that. And after he was asked about those comments to the team, and he made the point pretty crystal clear. He's like, we're not finishing 25th or 26th in defensive rating. Like, we're not. That was a big statement to me. And they've been talking about playing physical all of camp. And we've seen like bits and pieces of it during the preseason, some encouraging signs. So tonight I was looking forward to seeing how are they going to compete defensively. What did you notice from them on that side of the ball in this game?
I felt like that tone was set right away in this game, right? Like you didn't feel like, oh, they came out flat. I mean, how many years of Kings basketball have you been able to say that? Like, oh, where's the effort? We saw a shift last season. And then to see it right away in the first regular season game was really nice. And I thought it was interesting because once they did set that tone with physicality and just being up in guys, you noticed that the Jazz started to bring that a little bit more in the second half. And I know we'll get to that, but again, it was the Kings starting off right, setting the tone with being physical, being the tougher team, and I loved it.
They fouled a lot in that first half. And that's one area you just have to improve, right? Defend without fouling. Utah shot 20 free throws in the first half, but they only shot 11 in the second half. So Sacramento did improve a bit there. But I'm with you. I just felt like they were playing physical. There were still mistakes, but it wasn't as glaring as it has been over the years, and especially last year for the Kings. It seemed like the communication was good. Rotations were good. I know Matt talked to you about this too. You guys were talking about this throughout the game is the multiple efforts.
Yeah.
There were some times tonight where you're like, oh no, this looks like it's going to be a mess. And they recovered. Even there was one possession I want to say in the first half where the defense was scrambling like crazy. Utah still scored, but the effort was completely there. And if the Kings are going to take a jump defensively, going from 24th to maybe average, that's what's got to happen. They didn't allow many straight line drives tonight. There were, again, Herter had some mistakes out there defensively for sure.
The backdoors.
Some transition mistakes a couple of times, but it wasn't nearly what it was like last year. And I felt like that was super encouraging, especially for game one.
Yeah, I think you saw plays too, like when there were breakdowns, like we just mentioned, the second effort. Malik Monk, I forget who it was. Maybe it was Keegan. Someone got lost and someone was coming down the left lane with the Utah Jazz, and Malik Monk recovered by just sprinting over and contesting a shot, and then they finish it off with getting the rebound and going the other way. But it was just that effort from Malik Monk, even though he wasn't in the right place on the floor. And that's what was nice about it. Even when you see guys get blown by or not in the right place, there was the effort to still make sure that they were contesting the shot, disrupting the play, doing something else. And I love seeing that because every possession matters.
Sabonis, I was going to actually say Keegan, but Sabonis had a nice block tonight too. I thought he had some nice defensive moments. Keegan had some really good defensive moments. Even early in the game, got switched out on Markkanen. Stayed with him on the perimeter and contested. Markkanen missed. He blocked Collins a couple of times.
Dude, the way that Sabonis stayed vertical and just still gets up and guys, I feel like we're going to see him get better and better. And I think it's so interesting too when the narrative around Sabonis being your big and what he lacks defensively. It's never talked about what he's capable of doing. People always go like, oh, he holds his own out there, like he's just out there because he's good at offense. And it's like, no, he still disrupts. He's an anchor. He talks. He can still protect the paint and protect the rim, maybe not with a whole bunch of block shots, but by contesting shots, altering shots, doing so many other things. And I just sometimes think that gets lost in whatever narrative people try to push out there.
I thought he had a pretty good game too.
I agree.
Especially against, the size that Utah has. And we've seen Sabonis struggle with some of these matchups, especially with bigger front lines at times. And Walker Kessler is a really talented big, right? Talented in his second year. Sabonis got the best of him tonight. He had 22 points. He had 12 rebounds, 5 assists. He also had a steal, and he was credited with 2 blocks. And Keegan had 2 blocks. So I love what I saw from Sabonis. And I felt like he got off to kind of a slow start inside, but he recovered well, and I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah. Great to see. Again, I mean, he gets a double-double effortlessly. That's his bit. And when he's not getting that double-double, everyone's like worried what's wrong with his game. Or sometimes he gets the double-double even in a bad game. So it's nice to see that he started off with that type of stat line.
De'Aaron did not have a great shooting game at all. He was 6 of 18 in this game, finished with 18 points, 6 assists. He had 5 rebounds. But I thought defensively he was fantastic in this game. And
my God,
we did a whole like film breakdown on De'Aaron and what we've seen from him defensively, especially in the preseason. It carried over into game 1. I mean, he is playing with a different level of physicality now. His on-ball defense is so much better. And I feel like he's even handling mismatches well, where guys seemingly have a size advantage and he doesn't back away. He's doing a great job with deflections, trying to strip the ball. He got called for fouls a couple of times on him, but it was that aggressiveness that I love to see from him.
He's so handsy, so active with his hands, and his ability, again, even if he's not blowing up screens, the way that he can navigate over it, because he's quick, because he can recover. And when he does recover, he's so active, and he's not just standing up. He's quick on his feet. And now when he is quick on his feet, he's showing his jersey. He's like giving them his chest, and it takes them a while longer to try and back down because, again, his effort is completely there in all aspects of his defense.
I know it's one game, and we need to see like 20 games of this type of defense from Sacramento. But based on what you saw tonight, could you look at that and go, oh, maybe they can be kind of an average defensive team?
It depends on what your definition of average is.
My average for me is in the middle. Can you be close to 15th in defensive rating this year? 15th. You're 24 last year. They were 8th on the road in defensive rating.
I think realistically, I'm just going to be like rational here, and I'm going to be like, no, like that's just really hard to do statistically. Everything, especially when you didn't add a whole bunch of defensive players to be like, wow, these are the guys that are going to really make the defense take that next step. If they got in the teens, if they got 19, if they were like 19 in
19 is too close to 20.
But that's it.
17? Give me 17.
No, you're being irrational. That's irrational.
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
I think all the stuff I've talked about, look, they're still going to have limitations based on just personnel. Mm-hmm. But they look like they are in a spot where they trust each other more. The communication's there.
Yeah.
And the physicality was there. I mean, it just, so that's what excites me. Really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I just want the Kings defense to make the offense work a little extra. And I know that's their goal is like, okay, can we have them get into their offense a few seconds later? And I like even tonight, Clarkson hit some amazing shots.
Yeah.
He hit 1-3 when it seemed like the Jazz were maybe making a slight run in the fourth quarter. Fox couldn't have played any better.
Right.
But you made him work for it. And that's what I want. Expand some energy out there. Make it harder for them. That's all I can ask for. And don't give up middle. Don't give up straight line drives. Contest. Play hard. Foul. Let's go.
There are, as we all know, better teams in the Western Conference than the Utah Jazz.
Yes,
I'm just comparing, and not to take away from what the Kings did defensively tonight, because again, that effort alone, when you don't have the best individual defenders, when you can give that type of effort and build off of that, your team defense is going to just get better and better. It's going to grow together. But yeah, they're going to play a lot tougher teams, and their defense is going to break down differently.
Yeah.
There's going to be teams with even more lob threats. And you look at this squad, and they had some big guys. There's going to be teams that are just like, killer from the outside.
Yeah.
It's going to really mess with the Kings defense. And no shit, all of this is going to happen. But I guess my point is, I just can't sit here and make and claim any of these other
Sure.
numbers after one game.
That's fair.
Thanks.